Yeah, do me like Jesse and Obama. That nigga.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
That
I'm
nigga.
pour some wine.
Dilla, what you think of the debate, bro?
I ain't even watch it. I wasn't gonna do that to myself.
Yeah. My nigga.
I tell people all the time, I'd rather weekend at Bernie's than fucking Adolf Hitler. So
Hey, that's a great way to put it.
that's at least we know the puppet masters around Biden.
Yeah,
we
for
have
sure.
no idea who the puppet masters are around the other guy.
Whoever with the biggest check at the
We
point
know
in
who
time.
propping the we know who propping the body up.
Yeah, we know who proper, which I'm okay with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can at least
The other part of it is us progressive postulate we don't have a single person in the wings ready to replace Biden, right? There's zero prep.
No, nobody's ready.
Nobody's ready, so it'll be fucking bullshit. Let that nigga get in and just drool. Okay, what kind of damage do your granny really do to your family? None.
That's true though.
You know what I'm saying?
He said, "Let him just drool."
You let the wrong auntie get power of attorney, then shit fucked, right? Your whole family is fucked. But if y'all just let grandpa drool, no nothing, it's, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing changes in your family's shit.
You know what happened when you let Tina get that money.
You know what I'm saying? She
Now look,
Yeah.
Big Mama house down south, all got run up in it.
Yep.
Sold the car.
We've seen it 1,001 times.
Yeah,
Look
man.
at Nichelle Nichols, Lieutenant Aurora. Right? They were so adamant about that when she was on drool time.
Yeah, man.
And then that dude took over, and her kids wasn't even at her funeral.
It's crazy. That's the craziest way to put it. This whole presidency coming up is going to be about power of attorney.
Yeah,
Who got power of attorney over these old niggas, man? Because
And they only 2 years apart. Like that's the wild thing is like
that is crazy.
also. Yes, the only
Trump
reason,
got that good Adderall.
No, it's
and
not the
He
Adderall.
just been
It's,
fucking doing cocaine and prostitution shit for
yeah.
all these years. That's a different
Yeah,
fuel.
and he didn't do nothing while he was in office. That's why, like, he wasn't actually doing work. So that's why
For
he
real.
look. It's like
Biden stressed the fuck out of there. He had 2 strokes.
Man, this thing is when he freezes. I be trying to shake the TV. I'm like, what? No,
Yeah, I
bro.
want to
Hey,
watch
he
that.
didn't do that Mitch McConnell though. He didn't
That's
do that.
true.
Now if he did that, that would have been a
They
problem.
need to not let him do no more debates.
Yeah, for real, man. Like we gotta
And
find.
blame it on the moderators. You're not gonna hold Trump unless you promise to hold Trump's lies into accountability, which no station's gonna say yes. So unless you're gonna fact check in a moment, I don't want to do it. And that's it. You're out of it.
Yeah, and the thing I was looking at and reading is the being able to debate is not actually a reflection of being able to govern. Like those two things, like the skills it takes to debate, the skills it takes to win an argument on your feet back and forth is not the same skills it takes to actually run.
It's
a
like
bureaucracy.
the difference in lawyers. Some people are trial lawyers. Some people do all the research and all that shit. Like watch the OJ show or all the dream team. They all did a different thing, but they all equally as popping of a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think my surge protector keep going off, man. Landlord got to slide. Y'all caught it live. That's what's happening. You know what I mean? The power of production.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we're here talking about the debate because one thing is not up for debate is July 28th. We outside with it. You know what I mean?
Segway King.
You know what I mean? Samples and samples, City Winery with my man's Dilla. You know what I mean? Me and I, we've been doing this, but to bring you on to do this event is really exciting.
Very special, bro.
Yeah. And what they don't know, this is not our first time doing it. We, you know what I'm saying?
We did something at the Bronzeville Winery.
Yeah,
Super,
man.
super
So,
dope.
And I think it was that moment where I was like, oh shit, we could do this.
Yeah.
So it's
How'd
nice.
y'all meet, man? That's what I'm trying to.
Bronzeville Winery.
That was it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So y'all just linked organically on some shit?
Yeah.
That's very dope.
Yeah, man. I found out about it. It was for a wine club event way back when, or a private event. And, there was like Dilla, Chicago story. And then I looked it up and I was like, hell yeah. Because then I started following. I was like, this is
Right
fire.
on. Right on.
And yeah, man, it's been lovely ever since, man.
Dilla, so your come up, bro. How did you? Now I feel like every time I open my phone, like I'm like, all right, what's up, homie? So I'm like, what, like, how did you get to this point?
If I knew exactly, man, I'd be like selling it and putting it in books, right?
I feel you.
It's
That's how the best stories go.
I just really felt like there was like a void in a space as it relates to I call myself like maybe a contemporary Chicago historian, right? We've had several like older ones. If you're in the academic world, right, there may be certain folks in academia that are really well versed in Chicago history, but just like as a public historian, I really didn't think we had one at the moment.
And like accessible. Like
accessible.
You be outside.
You know what I mean? Not just that, but like using sometimes like big brain people use big words for no damn reason just to show like they know them. It's really hard to like latch on to the information because you're 2 sentences behind trying to catch up to some word that didn't really need to be used.
Too busy trying to impress rather than like engage
and educate, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I legitimately had no kind of motive. I just started telling Chicago stories online. And the second I thought it had like some kind of traction, which when I look back, that wasn't even really no traction, right? Like 5 comments ain't traction. You know what I'm saying? But those 5 comments just was empowering. So I just kept going. Like it was a mandatory kind of, you need to put out a new Chicago story every day for, I don't know, 5-6 months. I did it every single day. And
that consistency, right?
Yeah, it took off.
Was that something, have you always been consistent, like a consistent person, or is this something where you're like, I'm about to do this?
I think, so I got ADHD.
My nigga, let's go. Man, we can start a club.
And
we got shirts.
So when I get hyper focused on anything, then it's gonna be very consistent.
Hell yeah.
And then when I'm tired of it, it's gonna be utterly ignored.
Yep.
But
that's
I'm not just that. I'm very like dogmatic too. Like, if I say I'm gonna do a thing, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Speak it into existence and hold yourself accountable.
Yep.
You have to.
I operate the same way. I feel like a lot of people, it comes off as, maybe it's a Chicago thing, I don't know. It comes off as like braggadocio, and you're like, no, I'm doing this. I'm saying this shit so that I do this shit, and then I'm gonna do this shit.
Yeah, because you have to. I mean, that goes to manifestation. Like you have to talk about it. You have to feel it. You have to say it so that the water and the energy in your body thinks about it, dreams about it, creates it while you sleep, so you can actually make the thing happen. And I think, like, that's one of the things like I find that's underrated, and that I did a lot when I was younger. Like I think we all did that. Like when we were young, we were like, I'm gonna do this, I'm that.
Yep.
And then as you get older, you like, oh no, I can't. It like you supposed to be humble, you supposed to not pop your shit, but.
Well, you also learn what worked. The work that you got to do, and you're like, I don't have time to talk my shit.
Yeah.
Like me talking my shit is now sales and like and promo. So I'm like, come support a nigga. Just come see me talk my shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different beast now. But I think that comes with age and time in this. So
well, like what you said, like self accountability. I have to check people a lot of times, like when we use like be a man of your word or your word is born kind of thing. We kind of conflate the two things. You know, if I say I'm gonna be at your party at 8 and I get there at 9, it's not me not being a man of my word. To me, doing what I say I'm gonna do for me, right? It's way. You know, Kobe said it, right? I'll negotiate the hell out of anybody with any other thing, but I ain't negotiate with myself.
There it is.
Right.
So, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the mentality. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's like, I feel like at that moment, every time I've seen or read or heard or talked to somebody who's hit that moment in life, like that's when excellence begins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you start holding yourself to a standard, you're like, I'm not about to dip below this standard.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between like, I'm just out here doing it. I'm like, no, I'm trying to
smack in the face too, man, because at least for me, it's like, damn, I could have been doing this so many years earlier.
I ain't got no more years to waste. What was I doing, bro? I didn't do this
why
shit
wasn't
right
I doing this then kind of thing? I guess, you know, perfect timing is never too late kind of thing. But if I have any kind of like drawbacks of what's going on in my life is that I didn't do it 10 years earlier.
I feel like that's such a through line with both me and DCW, just talking about how we just like, you know what, now we stay so curious and ready to create and ready to just do different things and put on different events, make different projects, make different product, because of all the time we think of we could have been doing it. Like I don't have any more time to waste.
Yeah.
You look at Pharrell or somebody like that, they still out here doing it.
Yeah.
no need financially to do this shit, but just I don't want to waste any time. I got to keep going. Got to keep going.
Money part the biggest pain in the ass anyway, right? If when I do talk to kids all the time, I go to schools, whatever. Somebody always asks like, if you could do something and not have to worry about money, what would you do? And I'm doing it already, right?
Yeah, bro.
That's it.
That's
really cool.
I would just do this free.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
yeah.
Without any worries.
And I think too, it's like, how do we? Our goal is, how do we turn this thing that we love and like monetize it to an extent while keeping some parts of it to ourselves?
Yeah.
Because you can't turn it all into money, because or monetize all of it, or monetize every aspect of your life, because then you're thinking about all of this in dollars and cents. Like, man, how much is this gonna make? What's the flip on this?
Yeah.
Or it just becomes work, you know, like, and like I said,
This
I'm
ain't work.
already
None of what we do is work. It's work from the aspect of we have to work to do it, and niggas got to live.
Yeah.
But this is expression and an act of service in a sense. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about what I do. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to keep this. I saw it yesterday. Somebody posted, might have been Metro Boomin or somebody. He was like, you never know who's believing in you.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I was like, damn, that shit hit so home, because there's different moments in my career, my come up, where I've been like, man, ain't nobody checking. I could just go get a job, bro. Like, I could make this much doing something else. And then I think about it, I'm like, nah, man. People been in, I think about the comments, right? Those first 5 comments you get, or the little DM you get about this track that you make, or people responding and be like, yo, when you opening up the shop again? You're like, man, I'm not even thinking about that. But at the same time,
it's a light for people.
I got to get back to it, because you never know who's believing in you on that shit.
Yeah.
That's some bars.
I love that, bro.
Yeah. And I think too, like, the ability to be able to like create and be in spaces and think of how to make connections in ways that people are not seeing it. Like, it is our job to build connections in ways that people are not necessarily thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is going to work every day and they don't get to daydream and like have an idea and bring that idea to fruition. Like, they don't get that luxury. And I think, like, by you being a Chicago historian, like, going on your tours is a way for them to be able to get some of that creativity back, or be able to experience the city in a space where they otherwise wouldn't, because we don't live in a society that gives us the space to do that. Music does that, takes us away, right?
Yeah.
Being able to drink wine and enjoying it is a communal activity that allows us to be able to engage with people. So, yeah.
Dilla, let me ask you this. How does it feel to use Chicago history to inspire people? You know what I mean?
You know, it's just really rewarding in a sense, but sometimes I feel like I'm robbing the bank a little bit, because it's not like a thing that I'm doing, right? It's not something that I created or that I have manufactured that is then becoming this inspiration. It's really other people's stories and instances and the built environment, and I'm just like the sharer of the thing. But no matter what you want to do, there's some history to it, and I think understanding that helps you do that thing. You know, forget, you know, who's the first dude to play on whatever team you play on now. Like, what steps did that person take to get to where you're trying to go? And you know, oftentimes those steps don't change. And then the other part of it is, you know, particularly for people of color in Chicago, sometimes you can like look around in your built environment and not be happy or be questioning, like, you know, why certain things the way that they are. And if you use history and research it, then you'll come up with those answers, and it'll, you know, make you feel a little bit better about the space. Like, well, you know, shit, I live in the hood because they designed it like this, right? Like, it ain't on me. I am enough. I am doing all the things I need to do. My parents were doing all the things that they needed to do. We just are involved in a system that didn't really work to our benefit. So
that's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy, because like bringing that history to things helps people make sense of the world, right? That's what storytelling is. That's what storytelling became. That's the first stories handed downward to make sense of the story. The stars are here because of this. The moon is here because of that. And what you're doing is you're helping align that same type of thinking for people and understanding the city. There's amazing city, right? That's for me, somebody who wasn't born here, but I've been here more years now. I'm from Milwaukee. I've lived in Chicago more years than I lived in Milwaukee, right? So I'm like, that was something I couldn't wait to say and feel, because I'm like, man, nah, I'm a Chicagoan, bro. Nah, for real. Like, I've lived all over this city, probably 15, 20 different neighborhoods, couches, beds, rooms, houses. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot of what the city has to offer, and to be able to like catch up with the actual history of it. I just went on an amazing trip to Detroit, and shout out the homies at Breakout, and I got to learn all about the history of Detroit. Yeah. They're amazing people, Michael Farber and all the gang, and I got to learn all about the history of Detroit, and I was like, man, I missed out on this in Chicago, and then I'm like, wait, I'm about to kick it with Dylan on Monday. I'm about to do this whole event, and so many other events that you throw are such a resource for people to like get to know an amazing city. You're wearing a Bulls logo, right? Yeah. That logo means so much to so many people around the world. Not just because they don't think of Zach LaVine or something. They might, but like they think of Jordan, or they think of this, or they think of, yo, I remember watching that game with my kids, and it's a whole, my fault, y'all. It's a whole different thing. And like, that history means so much to people. So when they see that logo, they're like, hell yeah, you know what I mean?
You know, I'm challenging people too, or at least I'm attempting to, right? If it has a name, it has a history. I say that every tour, you know, and exploring that history of a thing, you know, keeps you curious, keeps your mind questioning things, you know, like, why are we the Bulls, right? Or, you know, we're off of Jackson Boulevard. Why is this Jackson, right? Like, just these certain things, and there are answers to them too, right? If you get to looking, and then once you discover that you're able to find those answers, it empowers you to be able to find the answer in so many aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying? Just by being curious of history.
Bro, I'm happy you asked, why is this Jackson Boulevard? This house is so funny. Like, the guy who bought this house in the 70s is the reason that there's no parking on this block, that this is a historical Chicago block. Like, he restored it when it was Skid Row, and then he had the city name it a historical block, and the upkeep and everything is kept up ever since. So when I got in this house, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And then I realized he's a civic engineer, and he did all of that building shit in the attic on that chalkboard behind you, and I'm like, damn, vibes.
You know, man, it's a tragedy we tearing down so much historical stuff, but just the storytelling that can be found in history, right? You know, all the way down to you got like exposed Chicago common brick, right? And where do we source those from? Even down to like, you know, it was some dude in here laying these bricks by hand, right? And,
exactly.
And his story is imprinted in here. So
all the unnamed legends along the way, like, you know, Mr. Lavica, like he's not some name that you would hear about, but like I hear his story, I'm like, man, that's a cool dude. I'm happy I get to live in his crib.
That's super. That's nothing better than a curator of a space, or, you know, making sure that spaces will outlive us. You know what I'm saying?
Everything that has a name has a history. That's amazing, bro. That's a bar. I'm gonna remember that one. I'm gonna remember that one. That's going on the whiteboard. I'll put your name next to it so niggas don't lift it. I got you. We big on publishing up here.
You know, encourage those who may see this to make sure you show up to City Winery.
Talk about it.
July 28th.
July 28th. It's going to be samples and samples, where we're pairing wine samples with the music and stories of Chicago. One, just being in the City Winery space is just a bunch of, you know, what I would say like regular dudes, right? He ain't Eric Benet. I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Same fade, but
right. I'm not Questlove or you know,
I'm just your boy,
Cornel West, right? We just, you know, but if we can get to a point to where we're having events at City Winery, then that says a lot to other people, no matter what you're trying to do. But it's also like a good chance to vibe out, enjoy great wine, learn the history of some amazing Chicago legends whose names permeate throughout the country and throughout the world.
Yeah, man.
And so I'm looking forward to doing that. Thank you for the idea. You know. And
salute, gang.
Hope to see you there, man. It's gonna be really, really dope. I'm gonna be shamelessly selling my merchandise there. So
please bring cash. We dropping all the shit.
Like
Vinyls,
Chicago
candles.
positive branding merchandise, then go ahead and pull up. But it's like I say, man, that's gonna be such an amazing event, and it's almost like a reclaiming of space too, right? Because where City Winery is and that whole Fulton Market kind of
Absolutely.
thing was formerly a place like real blue collar meat packing,
Absolutely.
hard working kind of space, right?
A lot of families being fed off some low numbers
yeah.
from that area. You know what I mean?
From that area for sure.
It's completely different now, but it's always amazing to have so many people from all over the city, from all different walks of life, congregate. Right.
Yeah.
So City Winery, July 28th. It's gonna be a vibe. Derek, talk to him.
I mean, if you love wine, if you love music, and if you're a curious mind, it's the perfect place to be. There's nothing better to do. I'm excited about sharing these pairings and like thinking about how these stores relate to wine, because I think wine can be in any environment, anytime, and wine is historical in nature. So why not do this? And it's good to have some fun too.
Yeah, it's the first show with the fade, man. Yeah. Where your brush at? Get your brush. You need to be brushing.
First of all, I got waves now.
Yeah, get the brushing.
Waves are so different. That's how my daughter said I'm so old. I was like, man, when I was getting waves, you just broke out the orange can, the Murray's wave grease. She's like, nah, man, it's a whole routine. You gotta
get caught up to it, man.
So were y'all lying this way or lying this way?
Oh, so I used to have the line this way, but they got a new way. They got the new joint.
What they doing now? You don't get the line. Oh, they Smino got a silk hoodie.
See?
Yeah. They going off.
Yeah, they got silk beanies, satin line beanies, satin line hats. So I've been on my satin line joint.
Yeah.
And then the other thing though for sure is the wide. When you get the do-rag, you gotta get the wide string do-rag because it's like flat, so you don't get the lines.
That's nice.
The world has changed.
5-blade. Fusion. Hot water and a rag. I'm in this bitch.
Yeah. That's hard.
Every stage of hair on the show. So
July 28th, Samples and Samples, City Winery. It's going to be Odd Couple. It's going to be DCW, Derek C. Westbrook, and the main man, Dilla.
Hell yeah.
Holla at y'all. Chicago.
Peace.